Hey guys, it's Troyan.
And Bree.
And this is Up in Smoke with Salute. And this week, we're going to be talking about Reddit. Like, it's all about Reddit this week because I wanted to. That's basically, I get to decide what we do, basically. I asked Bree for her opinion. She never gives it to me. But before we get into that, we're going to do a little update on the donation drive. The Carlton County Animal Rescue, they came and they got the donations, all the donations, and it was a decent amount.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think we were going to even get that amount, no offense. Like, I just thought, because foot traffic's been light in the store, obviously. But, like, we've had people just come in to donate and then go, which, like, that's fine with me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just glad somebody's donating, because, like, the furry friends, yeah, I almost said people, they're not people. The furry friends, they need gifts and stuff, and the foster parents, they need help, with them, so people donated leashes, and a treat bag, and toys, and all that, so. Alright, let's dive into Reddit. We'll start off with some questions. It's about to appear on your screen in 3, 2, 1. Alright, first question. This is in the r/weed Reddit. It says, how long do you wait to smoke after a night of drinking? This is weird because I thought it was weird. I'll read it, then you give your opinion, and then I'll give my opinion.
Okay.
I've been a pretty heavy weed smoker for a number of years, on and off, and it's ritual for me to have a joint before heading to bed. As expected, if I smoke the second I get home after a few drinks, I immediately green out and feel bloody awful. Sounds like a stupid question. In parentheses, the easy answer is to just go to bed and not smoke. But hypothetically, there is a window of time that works for you, ? A lot of variables to consider, but just curious to see if anyone has a cardinal rule they live by that works and doesn't end in dizzy spells and wanting to vomit. And this is sorry in advance if this is a dumb question / has already been discussed on the sub. Edit. Some context. This is in situations where I'm unable to smoke before drinking.
Yeah, so what I always heard was, it was like, I can't remember the phrase, but it's like, green before drink, you turn out okay. It's like some sort of weird phrase like that, that says you want to smoke before you drink because the way it'll hit you is different. And if you drink before you smoke, then, like, you're going to get the bad effects of drinking and smoking. Because, like, your blood speeds up when you're drinking and, like, all that.
See, so me and my friends, we'd always, like, drink a few beers. Well, we'd drink one casually, then we shotgun one. Then we would smoke, and then we'd keep drinking. We'd always just smoke while we were drinking because, we like how it felt. And we weren't, like, greening out, because like, no offense, they probably have a lower tolerance than we do. Like me and my friends do, because like we smoke like pretty much. We used to smoke like pretty much every damn day. I mean, I smoke like almost every day, but like.
Yeah, you were also drinking a lot then, but I know now since you haven't really been drinking a lot, when that would happen, it would hit you a little bit differently. See, I was never really a drinker. The one time I did drink and then I smoked, I ended up having a really bad trip and I freaked the fuck out. Like, I thought there was people standing outside of the car at first. My friend was driving, they were sober. And I was like thinking there were people in the trees. I was freaking going crazy. I went home, I cried. Like, it was a bad day. So, like, just don't do too much too soon.
If anything, I'd wait like 30 minutes, like after you got home, because you probably haven't drank anything on the ride home. Like, I'm going back to like, like I'm giving them a little advice. Whoever, they probably won't even hear this anyways, but you never know. And then, like wait like 30 minutes to 40 minutes if you can. If not, you fall asleep without smoking. If you can wait, you can smoke a little bit before you go to bed. That's my rule.
Another thing that would help is, like, eating something when you get home before you want to go smoke. Like, bread or... I know...
They're not birds. How about you eat, like an actual something, like greasy food, or you drink some coffee?
Well, I know bread absorbs the alcohol, so it, like, stops running in your system as fast. And...
What kind of science is this? Where'd you get your degree? Know everything. You got your freaking degree.
but like helping your body metabolize stop the metabolization of alcohol will be helpful when it comes to like if you want to smoke before you go to bed, or just drink earlier in the day if you can. I don't support day drinking.
Oh, what if it's their day off and they're on vacation somewhere?
Well, then like I was making a joke, but like,
do you think they heard my neck pop?
I don't know.
My neck popped and it was really loud. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next thing. This is in Reddit, the Reddit feed, r/edibles. The question is, why is my tolerance to edibles increasing so fast, or am I doing something wrong? It says, I quit drinking a few months ago, switched to cannabis products, and then it says, namely indica-based edibles, to help with anxiety and sleeping at night. I found very quickly that indica chill edibles do a great job for helping me relax after a long, stressful shift, and they also help me eventually go to sleep. They have also kept my drinking at bay. I've been struggling with insomnia from time to time, hence the reason why I started drinking in the past. Anyways, when I first started eating edibles, I was only needing 1 square gummy, or 5 milligrams, to get the effects I needed. However, after a few weeks, I had to go up to a gummy and a half, or 7.5 milligrams. And now a few nights ago, I noticed 2 gummies just wasn't doing it anymore. I waited a full 2 hours, but the only thing I felt was an increased appetite and an increase in my heart rate. No noticeable feelings of relaxation like I'm used to. So I'm going to increase my nightly dose up to 12.5 milligrams or 15 milligrams. And then it says, TLDR, over the span of about 3 months, I'm going from 5 milligrams to about 12.5 to 15 indica gummies to get the same intended effects of relaxation and sleepiness. And it says, is this normal? Am I doing something wrong? Thanks in advance, all. I mean, I have more experience with edibles than you.
Yeah.
So, but like, you're not doing anything wrong, because I started out using some gummies that were 175 milligrams a piece. That's what I started with, and I popped one in my mouth, and literally a week later I was using 2. So I mean, like, I feel like that's pretty normal. Mine increased very fast, but I think it's because then, since I have a head injury, the chemicals and stuff and all that, it probably messes with that. But like, I feel like it's normal. If you want, you could take like a tolerance break, but like, if you want to keep just using only 5 milligrams to 7.5 milligrams to get the job done. But either that, or I'd switch to a different type of edible, like maybe a chocolate or something else, switch to something else. Or even if you can try a different smoking type, if you can. I know that's not feasible for all people because like lung problems and stuff.
Yeah.
But.
Well, the thing is just like with any THC product, or just like any product in general, like with alcohol, 1 beer might be good for like a few weeks, and then like you'll need to up it to 2, stuff like that. Your tolerance to everything slowly builds up, so it might be like they're taking one every night, which is completely fine. Like, if it helps, it helps. But your body's like getting used to what you're putting in, because your levels are used to being at that place now. So in order to get a higher effect, you need to bring more in to raise up the effect.
I need around 200 to 250 milligrams worth of gummies for us, and our gummies are 5 milligrams, so divide that, and that's how many it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do math right now.
But like, it's a normal thing. They're not doing anything wrong. Something that might help is like taking a few days break, so that way your body kind of like resets a little bit on how much they need. And then also maybe just, like you said, looking into a different gummy brand, because like that may have helped, but like there might be something else out there that like have a different combination of the terpenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'll like reset it for
them. So really, like,
research
your gummies, and then, or like you can research them and then like get a few different kinds.
Yeah.
When you like, pick your top 3 and get a few different kinds, and it would be like, all right, I'll try this one, and if you like it, stick with it, and then when it's empty, just be like, okay, cool, I'll try the next one now. If you don't like it, obviously try the next one instead of keeping with the other one.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, you gotta keep it simple.
Gotta shake it up a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah, that's not simple. That's unsimple. All right, this is in the r/weed Reddit. Do I need to refrigerate dabs? I picked this one because I know you have an opinion on this one. It says, question, I'm thinking about getting an ounce of dabs, but probably couldn't get away with putting them in a fridge. Would I just be signing up for failure, or is it no big deal? So he's asking, does it need to be refrigerated, or can he just have it somewhere, or can they just have it somewhere?
Okay, so you don't have to refrigerate them.
Don't clap. You're going to mess up the
I'm
audio.
not clapping.
Okay.
You don't have to refrigerate them. The benefits of refrigerating are just like it's a smoother hit. The wax, when you're like taking the dab, doesn't like
run off.
Yeah, run off or like go into the rig or whatever you're using as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are like the benefits of it. But with like not more like refrigerating it, it's going to be a little bit runnier. It's going to be stickier. You don't want to put it on its lid so it doesn't get everywhere.
Just you put it on the lid on, it might like solidify to that, and it's hard to get off.
Yeah. So like you don't need to in order to smoke them. It can be helpful. It just depends on your preference, and if you can't throw them in the refrigerator.
I like them in the freezer.
Yeah. Just make sure that you have like a rig that you can clean.
Yeah.
So that way, like, you can get out the wax that goes in there that may have not been, like, already smoked. Plus, I always say, make sure your rig is cleanable, because...
Mm-hmm. The reclaim's always better.
Yes.
That's my favorite part. And I agree with everything you said, because you heat up my dabs for me because you love me. All right, question number 4. This, I can't remember. I think this was posted in r/weed. The screenshot's a little wonky, but oops. Using an electric roaster to bake my weed for edibles. Looking at options I have to bake my weed outdoors. Would using an electric roaster work for me? So basically, like, they have to cook it outside because they can't cook it in their house.
Fair enough.
So, like, you know that, like, little, like the one we have in our car right now. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be okay. I've never personally tried it, but frankly, I've only made edible can of butter once.
Yeah.
So.
And my ability to make edibles have never been good.
Yeah.
I don't think throwing weed and brownie mix classifies as edibles.
No.
But I think it would work as long as it can get up to the temperature it needs to be at and hold it for however long. Mm-hmm. It would work.
You could cook food in them, so I don't know. I see you can't bake a plant in them.
Yeah.
So, honestly, we might have to try that. Test it out. Maybe in a video for the channel in the future. Question 5, and this is in r/edibles. How are people finding places online to buy edibles? Oh, hold on. The screenshot's a little wonky, so I'll try my best. I absolutely hate the infused gummies you can buy at local shops. I just want to find someone who sells homemade strong, infused baked goods for a reasonable price, but no matter what I search, I always find just places that sell those nasty gummies or are just overall sketchy / not what I want. Where are more experienced people in this field finding stuff? I once found a site that I bought a 1,000 milligram Fruity Pebbles bar for a solid $20 and thought I struck gold, but that site does not exist anymore. I'll tell you where you can buy really good edibles that are gummies and are not gummies, and that is, look at your screen right now, people, unless you're driving, because if some people listen to podcasts while they're driving, but it is, ready, follow along here, www.salutgummies.com.
Yes. He has updated the site,
yes.
TJ here, to have our
chocolates on there, and I'm working on putting pretzels, and we have some other goods that go up there.
Our freeze dried.
And our freeze dried, so I'm working on that too. That's what I was forgetting to add to the list. Thanks, Bree.
You're welcome. But when it comes to like buying actual baked goods online that are edibles,
sketchy.
That is, I
wouldn't buy homemade brownies online.
Yeah. Because you don't know what someone's put in it. Like,
could be a dose of like fentanyl or something. Yeah. You don't know, and that'd be sad.
I would just buy the stuff so you can make your own at home, which I know is a lot more work, and like you may not like the smell, but it's better than ending up in the ER because someone poisoned you.
Yeah, like I recently just made my own can of butter to make like my own. We're gonna make brownies, but we're gonna make them here at Salute in our little toaster oven and stuff. But they're not for sale. They're for my personal consumption. I just want to make a video about them so you guys can see how that process is and see, maybe it'll inspire someone to make their own.
Yes.
Maybe it'll inspire that guy. This was just something I saw on Reddit in the r/weed. It says my cat, I'm not gonna pronounce it, I don't know how to say it. It says local slang term for weed has passed away, and he was 14 years and 11 months old. So I left a comment saying, I'll do the biggest doink for you.
Aww.
So, look at
Such
him.
a pretty kitty.
A pretty kitty. Alright. This is a story. First time. And this isn't r/weed. It says this person's a light smoker. Because this is their first time, obviously. Mm-hmm. Got high for the first time today. I hit the cart twice, and at first it didn't kick in. But then 5 minutes later, I was high as hell. My eyes got very low, and everything was 10 times brighter. I started panicking, thinking I was going to green out. But I told myself this was just the effects, and did some breathing exercises. Any advice on how to make the high go away faster? I thought this was funny. And since it was their first time, maybe they just wanted to try it. And I don't know if they want to try it again, but it doesn't make sense. What do you mean make the high go away faster?
So from what I gathered based off of that is they took too much their first time, and it's always good to have a backup plan when you smoke, in case I need to get high faster, or not high faster, sober sooner. Mm-hmm. So eating helps because it gets your body going, and that's the reason why sometimes you feel less high after you eat, unless you're eating edibles, unless you're taking edibles, but this is just for smoking. Eating, hot showers, basically anything to get your body to sweat. It'll get your it'll kind of kill the effects of being high sooner. Mm-hmm. Drinking water is always good, but my recommendation is hot showers, because it just, when you go into the shower high off of your ass, you're staring at the washcloth what am I gonna do with this? And then when you walk out, you're I never even smoked in the first place.
I don't think I've ever gotten in the shower and looked at the washcloth and said, what am I going to do with this? I always look at it and say, I should put this down because I'm going to wash my hair first.
No, I got into the shower time and I was just staring at it what is this for? Because I forgot that I was in the shower. I thought I was just in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my gosh, you're just naked and afraid.
Yeah.
I always wash my hair first, and then I wash my beard. So I do shampoo, and then I do conditioner and condition my beard. But then I rinse my beard conditioner out right away because that's what it recommends. Mm-hmm. And then I leave my hair. And then I pick up said washcloth that I stared at, wondering what I was going to do in your expertise. And then I wash my body, and then I rinse out my hair, and then call it a day. So that's my shower routine. Story number 2 is not there. Did not pull up. So 2 weeks ago we had a story on the podcast called 20 Years of Sobriety. So this man who's in the army, or this woman who's in the army, I can't remember. It doesn't really say. So they were in the army, and they discharged, and they hit a pen, and they got so high, and they loved it. Basically, because they could hear guitar strings, all the guitar strings of Hotel California. So this is an update. It says, about 2 weeks ago, I smoked for the first time in 20 years. For some background, I served in the military for 2 decades and a friend gave me a vape to celebrate my retirement. I even posted here, but I can honestly say I don't remember much the next day. I have never been a smoker and was always skeptical about medical marijuana, but now I have a different perspective. Here are a few things I've learned since I started. 1, medical marijuana is definitely real. When I smoked, the pain in my knees and back, injuries from years of training and combat, lessened significantly. I no longer need to rely on the numerous pills the VA prescribed for pain relief.
Well, that's good.
2, I have PTSD, and I've discovered that sativa strains don't work for me. After smoking it, I found myself in the shower hoping the effects would go away. Indica is for me.
Same.
3, there are no hangover and no need for alcohol to cope with our struggles. You learn your limits quickly and understand how long the effects last, and you can enjoy it while still being productive afterwards. So for those on the fence to do it, this is This former first sergeant can attest it's not the criminal or stoner activity they make it seem. Take it in moderation like anything else. Lastly, thanks to everyone for the support on the last post. And then they said Happy Thanksgiving, because that was a couple weeks ago. And then it says, I live in a legal state, so please no DMs trying to sell me stuff. I like that. That's cute.
I'm glad it's helping.
Yeah, I'm glad that he, or I guess they figured it out on, what works for them. See, it's not all criminal Satanist activity like people make it out to be. But, teach their own on their beliefs. Look at this plant. I saw this plant. Look how this is sexy, but look at the coloring.
That is sexy.
That is a nice plant. I wonder what strain it is. Oh, this is just random, but Nirvana is, I think, coming out with a movie, a documentary.
Oh.
And stoners like music, so this is about music. Look at that. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Okay, let's do some memes that I thought were funny. It says, new generation of truck nuts. Someone with a new electrical Ford Lightning has taken those stupid truck nuts to the next level, and it's two little electrical plugs. Literally every day. It says, me, 0.01 yactoseconds after getting home from work. That's me 0. Yactoseconds after waking up. At least it feels like. But I usually try to eat first.
Mm-hmm.
Never doubt the ingenuity of a stoner. He is a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will. Look at that. Even the toilet bong diagram.
As long as
It's
it was
clean.
a brand new toilet, even if it was clean.
Brand spanking new.
Yeah. Fresh pulled out, fresh plumbing, everything has to be brand new.
Mm-hmm. Then I'd do that.
Brand new water, freshly made.
Made. Feeling fantically tastic right now. And it says when the edibles kick in. Me.
That is such a cute picture.
Oh, it's like a little fuzzy tree frog.
Mm-hmm.
Their fear fuels me. It says when you pull out a dab rig and torch in front of a non-smoker.
Me when I was smoking dabs.
Tell them the first time that I saw the torch and stuff, because it was that big green camping propane torch type thing.
Yeah, it was a camping propane torch, and I had a glass rig that unfortunately has been broken since. And
Rest in pieces.
yeah.
Literally.
He knew I was smoking. Well, he would always give me a warning, and I would smoke as soon as he'd be I'm on my way there, 10 minutes, and so I'd smoke beforehand. Well, this time he didn't give me the warning. He just showed up.
Well, that was because we were in the part of the friendship where I was just allowed to I could just show up and knock on the door. I was one of the few people that was allowed to knock on the door.
Yeah.
At one point in time.
Yeah. So I was just sitting there smoking, and he knocked on the door, and I said, 1 second, and he takes it as he can open the door, so he opens the door, and I'm sitting there with my torch, my dab rig, and a puck in front of me, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
But now I love dabs. So
Yes. He didn't know what it was at first, which is...
You just had to explain it to me, and then I was like, okay, so you're not smoking crack. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, and he had to inspect the label. I had to show him where I bought the
Not
shit.
that I didn't trust you. I was just concerned for your well-being.
Yes, which is very sweet, and I appreciate it. But in the moment, I was like...
And the fact that you gave it up to me right away, it just proved that you weren't doing anything wrong. I was just my brain needs to know, or I'm going to have anxiety.
Yeah, and I was freaking... I wasn't freaking out. I was just what is happening? Because I needed 5 minutes before I could be a functioning person after a dab, because it would fuck me up. I'd just sit there what is life? How do I breathe?
No hate to this lady, but look at her eyeballs. That's how I feel. That's how my eyes looked. Right?
Yes.
All right, here is a discussion that I saw.
Uh-huh.
Used to be religious weed smoker. Now it gives me anxiety. Anyone relate?
Yes.
I've been smoking weed for a little over 6 years, literally every day and every night. I recently went on a week-long vacation that forced me to stop for that time, which was honestly needed, haha. But ever since then, I cannot smoke anymore. I can take one rip from the bong and instantly replay all the social encounters I had that day. Last night, I decided to give it a shot again, but immediately I'm going through my TikToks, deleting things, because I'm like, what the fuck who do I think I am? Haha, it's shitty. I'm curious, does anyone else relate to me? Hold on. Let me breathe first. Now you can speak.
Kind of. It might be the strain that you're smoking, because that's something I learned is, like, I used to smoke sativa, hybrid, indica. It didn't matter. I would smoke it.
If you could smoke it, it was on your lips.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it got to a point where, like, I guess sativas and sativa-leaning hybrids just weren't for me anymore. And I didn't have... I would think through all the social events that would happen, but I would take it a step further.
And just panic.
I would just panic.
So much you would throw up.
Yeah. And, like, I would think I was having a heart attack on my phone. It has, like, the little heart thing that I could do. One time I had done that 6 times in an hour span. And I thought I was having a heart attack and I was dying. Like, it was bad. So
I think you, like, that person, if you have this problem, like, what you're doing is you started low.
Yeah.
Like, low doses. Like, you took, like, a bite of a gummy once.
Yes.
And you got super messed up from that.
Yeah.
But now you're up to about a gummy or a lunar, and you can take hits off of the bong. Sometimes, if it's, like, very low percentage THC and it's, like, an indica hybrid.
Yeah.
Like, indica-leaning hybrid.
And I've gotten a little bit better about sativas. I just need to be distracted. I can't just lay there at night, because then I'd be like, I can feel my heart beating. I can feel my toes, like, my toenails, like, I'll freak out. So it's just, you're kind of a baby stoner again. Restart the process.
Yeah, which is, honestly, you're lucky.
Yeah.
I want to read 3 different, like, comments on this post. It says, this is somewhat normal. I used to be a heavy user, ripping my cart for most of the day, smoking 1 to 2 doobs per night if I was out with my friends. No anxiety, just fun. Then I stopped smoking for 7 months after a really nasty edible high. Weed has never been the same since. It just makes me anxious now and kills any social drive I have. Makes me overanalyze every part of my day and life. It's just not fun anymore. You could try leaning into it again little by little. Maybe smoke less than you usually do at first and build up your tolerance and love for it. But it could be that your brain is just changing, or maybe this is just normal reaction to a long tolerance break. But 1 week shouldn't be enough to do that. Try only smoking a little bit at night in a really comfortable setting. That helps me.
Well, for a week, it depends on the environment the person was in.
They were on vacation.
Yeah. Well, weed is stored, like, THC is stored in your fat. So, like, if they were in, like, say they were climbing mountains in the desert or something like that, they're going to be sweating a lot of it off. And that also, like, kind of refreshes your brain. So the cannabinoids in your brain can become lower. So
this says, it didn't happen that suddenly for me, but can definitely relate. I've been smoking for well over 10 years every day, more or less. Have had 2 week breaks or so here and there for work and travel. But had a long run of work where I didn't smoke this summer, and now I get really depressed and anxious when I smoke. So basically, sorry, I lost my place. So basically, don't anymore. I've had alcohol and cocaine change its effects on me in the past. Generally feel better without them now, and weed seems to be the last thing in my chain my body decides it doesn't like anymore. Well, isn't there, like, what is that called? Or it's like, what is that thing? You know what I'm talking about. What is it called?
It's like CHS, cannabinoid hypersensitivity syndrome or something like that.
Where it's like you're basically allergic to weed now.
Kind of, yeah. So your brain gets so overwhelmed with cannabinoids that it basically flips the switch. So instead of, like, feeling, like, relaxed, helping with, like, any nausea, you'll get violently sick. You'll basically have, like, a bad reaction to it.
It's basically like the flu, right?
Yeah. For a little while, like, when I had to stop smoking, I thought that's what was happening to me. That's the reason why, like, the first time I did start doing it again,
I was like, I had to beg you. I was like, please, just take a little nibble.
I was peer pressured. I'm kidding. But, like, it's something that could happen, and, like, some people have had experiences where they could go back into it after several years. It's basically one of those things of, like, if you only do one specific thing. So if you only do carts or dabs or just smoking, because it's not balanced with, like, CBD and the other terpenes and stuff that your brain needs to help balance it out, that's what can lead to it. That's the reason why gummies are pretty good for...
Well, like concentrates and stuff have the terpenes in them, but just not as much.
They don't have as much, and because of how high of a concentration of THC they can have, it overloads that one specific cannabinoid in your brain that accepts it, and that's where the issue can come in.
That makes sense. See, I'm a type of person where I rotate, so I like edibles, I like smoking flower, I like dabs, you know. That's the only stuff I've really tried.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I haven't, like, done anything like the tinctures or anything like that. I've never had any of those. I like the drinks, but those are basically edibles, so. Here's the last comment that I have for this. It says, this actually happened to a couple friends of mine when marijuana quit them before they quit it. After their break, even small hits gave them anxiety. I suggest getting into microdosing. Better to use dry air vaporizers than smoking it, and trying a 1-to-1 CBD to THC flower to ease the anxiety. Also, look for calming terpenes such as lianol or lialol. I don't know how to pronounce these. How do you say those? How do you say that? How do you say that?
Mycene.
Something like that.
And beta.
Big words. You can see them on
Yes.
your screen. It's, yeah, sorry if you can't see them. You just have to miss out. That could be a good solution since they are well known for not triggering anxieties and for promoting relaxation and reducing stress. I like that. I've never had CBD flower. I mean, I'd be down to try it. Have you ever had like any type of CBD flower?
Kind of. So in Nebraska, you know how they sold the CBD flower there?
Yeah.
I tried that, and like I was relaxed, but afterwards I got a really bad headache from it. So I don't know if that was just like the type it was, or if it just wasn't for me. I mean, I'd be willing to try it again. I just don't know if I would enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never had it. I don't think I'd want to try it.
I did have, before I started vaping, I had like one of those like portable ones where you could change out the pods and you could refill the pods. I did a mix of CBD, the smokable CBD oil, and then salt nick in it to help me like relax and calm down. I did enjoy that. So like, I think it's just the flower I don't like. I think the CBD smoking oil.
You'd like?
Yeah.
This is in the r/Reddit. This was feed. This was from a year ago, but Bree found it. We're gonna go through it. It says people who are opposed to marijuana. Why? Well, before we get into like the comments of people who some that I screenshotted, I just want to know: do you know anybody who's opposed to marijuana? Don't say their name, but did they ever tell you the reason? And would you like to share it?
So I actually, small town where we used to live.
Oh yeah.
I had two friends that were really against marijuana. One of them said it's because everyone who used it is lazy, couldn't deal with their own problems. Basically just like shit talking people who use it to like cope with shit going on in their life. And they also couldn't get good jobs. And just the stereotypical
Here you
stuff
are
that
making more money than that person, I feel.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes, I am. And then the other person, they had like an ex-boyfriend who was really like into marijuana, and they didn't really like how he interacted with him.
With her.
With her. Sorry. And that's the reason why they were really against it, is because like one person represents the entire group
world,
who smokes marijuana.
Yeah, it tries the entire cannabis community.
Good news though, one of those people, when I started smoking, we were still friends, and they slowly started to open up to the idea. They said they would never try it, which, respect.
But they're like, oh, I'm not like so against it.
Yeah. We had an actual conversation about why I smoke, what it helps me with, shit like that, and they were pretty open to it. We started talking about medical cannabis, and like they said that if they support that, they were actually gonna talk to their brother about this was before it was legalized, talking to their brother about looking into it because some of the problems he had. So like, yeah. The people, this reminds me of like my dad, because like he used to like hate it. Like he still doesn't, he's like, I'm not gonna touch it, it's not for me, you know. But like he came up here to visit me,
and this summer, and he's like, you know, if it helps you, you know, whatever, just like, not like whatever. He wasn't mean about it, just like, I don't want you to smoke it like around me and my face, stuff like that. Like, no problem, I can do that. But this one time, we had gone over to grandma's for dinner, like we always did on Thursdays. Ate chicken, we went home, waited about 30 minutes, I popped in a couple gummies, I told Steve, I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay down because I had to go to work in the morning. He's like, okay. Well, then he calls me downstairs a couple hours later because he needed to talk to me about something. I don't remember what. I am high off my ass. like eyeballs closed. So like I come downstairs and he's at the bottom of the stairs. So I rub in my eyes. I'm just like, sorry, I was sleeping. I'm tired. And all that.
Snapchat
and see, I thought I had pulled it off. I thought I was smooth, whatever. Went to the kitchen, made myself a little snack before I went upstairs. And then when he came up here this summer, and I told him about that story about, he's like, oh, I know. I'm not dumb, but you weren't doing anything wrong. You were just upstairs. So I was like, okay. Well, as long as you're not mad, it's not like I was smoking. It was gummies. So like I kept the rule, no smelly stuff in the house. But this was before I knew he was okay with it.
Another thing is when we went down to Nebraska to visit him, he made a joke about getting some gummies for him to try out.
Oh, yeah.
Just since they were so low, so he could relax.
Maybe I should send him some for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dad. Get stoned. All right, let's see this comment. Got a couple comments to go through. This person, their reason is they quoted this South Park quote and said, this is by Randy Marsh from South Park. It says, quote, well, Stan, the truth is marijuana probably isn't going to make you kill people, and it most likely isn't going to fund terrorism, but, well, son, pot makes you feel fine with being bored, and it's when you're bored that you should be learning some new skill and discovering some new science or being creative. If you smoke pot, you may grow up and find out that you aren't good at anything. And here's where I have the problem with this. When I smoke, I do all sorts of things. I clean, I make things, I play video games, I take the dogs out, go for walks, we play outside, because like with all the health problems I have, like if I'm not stoned, I mean even when I am stoned, my bones and joints hurt 24/7.
Yeah. And see, like, there are definitely some people who just get stoned and sit around and do nothing. Yeah. I know a few people like that. There's a few people like that in my family. Like, that is not the end-all, be-all real to everyone. In my opinion, because there have been times where I've just smoked to be bored and I would just sit there scrolling on my phone.
Which is fine. You're allowed to be bored.
Yeah.
You know?
And then other times, the one crocheted blanket that I have, I made that high off of my ass. I was just finding random yarn, and I was making a beautiful piece of artwork. Some of my best drawings I've done when I'm high off my ass. Like, it just depends on who you are as a person. You can't just categorize every stoner into one category and expect it to be like the end-all be-all.
Yeah, like this person said, they commented and said, I got high and ran 4 miles through the woods in the rain this morning. Just because you smoke doesn't mean you have to do nothing. Now, see, I don't think it's 4 miles. They might be stretching it, but like, you know.
Yeah.
And then it says, I just realized rereading this, it's either going to land as a nice gentle run through the woods or some dude tweaking off his ass in the middle of the woods.
See, I've done both high off of my ass, because you know how I am at night. I took a walk one night high off of my ass, and it started raining. I started freaking out. It wasn't the woods or anything, but I was just sprinting through town, slipping in puddles. I came back soaking wet. And then other times, it's just a gentle walk through the woods, down towards the cows that were near my house, just looking at them, admiring them in the dark.
This person commented, in quotes, it says, look at this psychopath running through the woods in our backyard at 5 a.m. in the rain. He must be high or something. And then it says, when I smoked a lot back in the day, I always noticed how it made me appreciate things more. I can relate to OP's running in the rain. Rain is so cool. I'm going to go for a jog in the woods. I took a shower in the rain.
Yeah?
I mean, we lived in the middle of nowhere at the time. And
my favorite thing when I would smoke regularly is smoking before we would go to the lake. Because, like, I would appreciate the sand under my feet, the water around me. Like, you literally had to tell me to stop just floating in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, because, like, I didn't want you to drown, because boats would come by.
Yeah, and then, like, I would just appreciate the waves. And some people were concerned because I'd just be laying in the middle of the water, just soaking up the sun. No floaties around me, nothing. Just laying there, floating by myself.
I miss going to the lake high. It was fun.
It was.
I like swimming stoned. It was fun. This person commented they don't like it because it stinks. I'm not saying you should go to jail for it, but keep that disgusting smell away from me. And then it says, by the way, your clothes stink too, but you are too nose blind to notice. Well, newsflash, frickin' Karen. I don't smoke in a room where my clothes are. Yeah, the clothes that I'm wearing will smell like it.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a thing called a washer and a dryer and laundry soap for a reason.
Do they have a thing against farts? Do they think no one should fart around them either?
Yeah, because, like, farts stick to clothing and blankets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would know. Yeah, you would know because you smell when you fart, babe.
But, like, it's one of those things, like, everything has a smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
Cigarette smoke, the air outside. Cloquet has a paper mill.
Yeah.
When it rains or
it
snows,
smells horrendous.
it stinks.
We used to live, like, but when I used to live in Red Cloud, there's a feedlot there, and, like, just north of town. So when it would rain or the wind would blow from the north down, like, blow from north to south, it would smell horrendous in town.
Driving past that feedlot from Franklin to Kearney in the rain.
The one by the Pioneer Village.
Yes. Disgusting.
Yes. So freaking bad. I saw this comment on YouTube, and I'm trying to find it. It was funny. Is it this one? No. Somebody left a comment on a YouTube post. Oh, here it is. I was looking, I think it was On Our Best Behavior. I was looking at their podcast. Either that or Conversations with Kush. Can't remember which one. And it's not pictured here in the screenshot. But it says, THC is a great way to have your first psychotic episode and become a psych ward patient. Jesus, who hurt you? Andy B619. Who hurt you?
I mean, THC can open you up to, like, feeling and reliving some trauma that you went through and, like, figuring out how to accept it. Because, like, that's one of the things I used it for, was just, like, figuring out how to be okay with the shit I went through. But, like, I don't personally, like, you must have some pre-existing conditions to end up in the psych ward, or you must have went too hard too soon.
Yeah. Like, he must have downed a whole bottle of edibles or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Andy or smoked with Snoop. Like,
yeah. Listen, guys, Andy is hurt.
Yes.
He's hurting inside. Don't be like Andy. Be like TJ. And smoke. And stay lifted and stay elevated, because this is the end of the episode.
Yes.
We have no more Reddit to talk about. But we'll see you next week. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but you'll find out soon.
We'll figure it out.
Bye.
Bye.